I love when bands do that. They introduce a new groove, they let the bass kind of dictate. It foreshadows there's going to be energy of some sort. You don't know yet. Kind of love when these things surprise me. Then they establish the new groove, which is kind of like the bridge, but it started with the bass. Bass. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Low End University. Life Less Frightening is from the band's third studio album, Siren Song of the Counterculture, released in 2004. It was the band's first album on a major label, which finally allowed them to utilize their dream producer, Garth Richardson, who apparently insisted on recording the guitar and the bass one measure at a time to ensure perfect timing. And as a result, each song took nearly 12 hours to record. That's insanity. It's almost like those Mutt Lange stories where we had Def Leppard record the guitar chords one note at a time for perfect intonation. But I digress. I've heard the name Rise Against before, and I might have thought they were a full-blown heavy metal band, maybe a tour poster I saw them on or a festival billing. But I've gotten a ton of requests for this band after I first heard 88 Fingers Louie last year. That song 100 Proof and Joe Principe's bass intro is like one of my favorites now. It's epic. But this was recently one of the highest voted tracks over on Patreon, which is at patreon.com/lowenduniversity. So without further ado, this is my first time hearing Rise Against with Life Less Frightening. Right off the bat, I don't talk about this a lot. I have perfect pitch. It makes these videos possible in the way that I do them. One of my favorite keys is A flat minor. I love the sound of it. It's like one of my favorite keys, and this is right into it. And they kind of threw me off because I was like, is this an E major? Guitar, but the bass came in on A flat, which makes it kind of making... So I love the sound of A flat. All right, had to be nerdy there for a second. Let me go back to the beginning. Ooh. That bass tone.
From something we're not sure of in a world there is no cure for these lives we live test negative for happiness. Flatline, no pulse, but eyes open. Single file like soldiers on a mission. If there's no
Oh, this is very nice. Wanted to hear that major 5 they threw in there. Hold on. That's cool. Yeah. So again, in a minor key, the 5 chord is diatonically minor. And some bands, I would say a lot of bands use this just to drive tension back to the 1. But I like the way they're kind of ordering those chords here. A normal Andalusian cadence is where you have a minor 1, a 7 chord, a 6 chord, and a major 5 chord. It's kind of this sound, where that bottom chord's diatonically minor, but they make it major. But I like the way they ordered it and walked back up to the 1. You don't hear that a lot, and it just gives a good coloring to that chord progression. Ooh, I just love A flat minor. That bass tone is thick and warm. Yeah, this is not as heavy as I might have thought Rise Against are. Sometimes I have these preconceived notions with maybe where I read a band name, but a pummeling, fat bass tone. Wonder if he's using a pick. It's actually kind of hard to tell here. Let me go back to here. Let it go. Okay, that sounds like a pick now. That's a perfect tone for this. It's got the crunch that you'd want to hear in a song like this, but the top end is really smooth and you don't get that kind of extraneous pick scraping. Really good. Love that progression. This has a bit of a production quality to it. It's got some polished arrangements and just the way they're kind of layering the sections. And what's interesting is doing bands within under the punk umbrella. Sometimes it's very raw and very void of that. And then you have bands that have all those kind of poppy polished things, and I love them both. They're very different energies, but this one's really well done. This was their dream producer, apparently. I actually read here that the album got a little flack for having some of that polished stuff that maybe wasn't present on previous albums. I don't know. This is my first time hearing them. But just little things like the guitar palm muted, higher register things coming in right here, they work when you're trying to add energy and really push a song into the next section. See, it's kind of stripped down here. Those little guitar melodies kind of faintly in the background. Nice. Patrons, you picked it well. The bass break. Ooh. Now I'm convinced it's tuned down in E-flat standard. I feel like there's an open A-flat string with higher notes, which the intro I played for 100 Proof just a few minutes ago in the intro. It uses that theme perfectly. You have a low fundamental open string on bass to keep the fullness of the bass part that needs to be there sonically. Then you can go up higher and add melodies. This type of thing. It sounds like he's kind of taken that same page out of the same book here. And now I can hear the bass tone better. I don't know if it had that chorusy kind of thing on it the whole time, but it's really glassy and nice. Go back and hear this. I honestly thought we were at the end of the song right here. It's like, crap. Yeah, I'm going to tune my bass down. Thankfully, with the Line 6 Helix, they're not sponsoring this video, but I use it in every video. I can go down just a half step in one button. Now we're in the right key. So let me go back here. I think it's kind of revolving between the A and the D strings. Yeah, so he switches up and goes to the D string. So open A. Maybe he's doing it up here. Just really nice. And I really like the effect on it. One more time, we'll let it go. Maybe a subtle chorus?
Is there a God tonight?
Nice. I thought I was just going to pick back up kind of in a chorus. I love when bands do that. They introduce a new groove. They let the bass kind of dictate. They bring it down. You have this, faster subdivision, eighth notes or whatever on bass. It foreshadows there's going to be energy of some sort. You don't know yet. I don't know yet. This is my first time hearing it. I kind of love when these things surprise me. Then they established the new groove, which is kind of like the bridge, but it started with the bass. Bass. Yes. Let's see if I can play along with it.
Is there a God tonight? Abandoned sky or is it empty? Just nightmares. A place where we can hide from the nights when you are around.
Oh, that's sick.
So always kiss goodbye and close your eyes. Tell me what you tell me. What life was spent inside this dream of mine, where you are all I see. I don't ask for much.
Back to it.
Truth be told, I settle.
That section had a bit of familiarity to me in the sense that there are a few bands I kind of listened to surface level dabbling into them years ago, like Fall of Troy, Circus Survive. Like they had those kinds of sections that were more intense. You kind of had the dual vocals coming in, one that's in the background, maybe harsh vocals a bit, kind of be like more of a texture, a secondary vocal behind another kind of harsh vocal, almost in a breakdown feel. That's a really epic section here. All that stuff back there. Okay. Oh, tune down. Now I think we're at the end. Very nice. I'm not asking you guys to go pick songs in the key of A flat minor, but they always get a lot of brownie points for me. I don't know, that's a nerdy thing. But that was really melodic and a well-produced song. And I love that that bass break reminded me of the 100 Proof intro. I mean, it had a lot of the same moves. Open D string, fret 10 on the G string, walking down with a higher melody. That seems to be a big part of his style, from what little I've heard. But this is my foray into Rise Against. Well-produced song, good energy, catchy. Love the bass tone. Sounds like a pretty complex bass tone, but maybe it isn't. It's just, I love the smooth high end. It never had that over gritty kind of pick scrapey thing. But Joe Principe is a bass player I've been meaning to get back to. I've only heard 2 songs by him at this point. I'd love to do more Rise Against. I've had requests for Blood to Bleed. That was another one. This one got beat out quite a bit. But this was the top requested track. Thank you to our patrons for upvoting this over there. And I'd love to come back to these guys. They were great. That's been Rise Against, Life Less Frightening. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Once again, I'm over on Patreon. If you'd like to come support the channel further, I do full album reactions, tons of bass lessons, and all sorts of other stuff. And if you like this video, like the video. Subscribe. It really helps the channel out. I love you all. We'll see you next time.